In this fandom, the amount of people that are actually in the fandom, it tends to turn into a fog of people shrouded in the crowd. But this individual is shrouded in every single awful crowd you can find. You find an incident of extreme hate or discrimination going down, you best believe he's there. But it still remains as someone who no one who's really talked about publicly, despite him being one of the most awful people in this fandom.
What the fuck? Is this allowed? What the fuck? Is that allowed?
Micheal Herman, also known as infamously online as Cani Lupine, is a furry from Virginia. Kanye is quite famous in the furry fandom for his escapades, including, but not limited to, extreme bouts of transphobia, to the likes people have never seen, advocating for the murder of police officers. This may be considered okay in today's climate on Twitter, but advocating for the murder and shooting of police officers is not okay. But at the same time, going against liberals for allegedly taking away his guns. Okay, Nicholas Cruz. So he's also defending Care of the Wolf by making wild rationalizations about consent. This is just some of the things we'll get into today. So let's begin. Micheal was and is a fanatical individual. They're very well known to be part of Xanadu/alt-furry. It is a community based around politics. This was confirmed after people embedded in the community showed him speaking about the fact that he had a Kiwi farm page made on him. Just to put into perspective what Xanadu is, it's a safe haven for particularly degenerative furries. Pedos, zoos, and many more were hauled up in there. The community welcomed anyone burned, in big quote marks, by the fandom. I'll mention above, this was a sickening community who had a protected a certain trigger-happy fox, as well as Nazis like Nathan Gately, who threatened the 14-year-old into sexual abuse by doxing to do it.
Sit my fat ass here, and this is my stream. This is my own personal TV show. It's my window into 4chan. Just because everyone's been kind of a cuck tonight, Steve fucking Kyle.
You lost on all counts.
Mignog Jim Bob, would you mind finding the every child sex predator in the nearby area?
I mean,
maybe we could hand this out to them.
This place we can get free sex toys online.
Look, okay, I don't even care. You guys are fucking look. I don't understand what do you think you're gonna do? What do you think? No. What do you think you? What do you?
Just letting you know the exact type of people who Kanye or Micheal hung around with. He's even made a fucking Parler account. If you don't know what Parler is, it's a microblogging social media that's used mainly by Trump supporters, conservatives, and dirty Tories, conspiracy theorists, and the worst of the worst. The worst and most well-known thing about Parler is for the far-right extremist group that use the site. It's not only that, but he's also a fanatic racist. So let's see how he responds to someone calling him out on his bullshit. Psylocke says, I look forward to banning you from local cons as well. Rivian says, for the record, Cani Lupine, you're a literal human scum, and honestly I have no idea how anyone can stand being around you for even moments at a time. Part of me just thinks they can't stand and put up with you because they're afraid you're going to shoot up a mall if they don't. Talbot says, libertarians are weird, and Cani Lupine says, get lynched. I'm not going to finish that. But this is nothing but just a little teaser of our next best one. The beautiful, 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 sumptuous transphobia. So, Kanye likes to describe the fact that he's an awful transphobe as his opinion and hides behind the words of false allegations. Kanye is a fucking idiot who has frequently spouted and sparkled dumb shit about trans people, comparing them to everything under the sun, even Sharia law over pronouns. This is the thing that conservatives that look like this, telling me, politely asking them to call me she, her instead of he, him, is the same as Sharia law. Sharia law, by the way, is a religious law laying down the governing principles of spiritual, mental and physical behaviour that must be followed by Muslim people. But you wouldn't know that because you don't do your research. You're too busy calling your ex-wife a cum dump. But Kanye has done and seriously believes in erasing the trans community and executing and murdering trans individuals is the only way to go, as well as advocating for the beating of trans individuals who lied to their partners. I don't like that either, but beating really is not an option. No, that's what his laws for trans and homosexual panic killings are being rolled back, because it's not an excuse to kill somebody. But he is frequently seen denouncing these quotes, saying you never said that and that they are false quotes. Ah, nice, explain this then. So Kanye is here saying, I think it's a great time to start the gas chambers back up. Call me transphobic all you want, but this shit is absolutely ridiculous. They're mentally deranged and shoving their delusions onto children into laws. It's time to push back hard, strip their legal privileges and shove them back in the closet where they belong. I fully support trans erasure 100% unapologetically. And you wonder why people are fucking hostile towards you, Kanye. You openly stated this, that you wanted to kill trans people and saying to remove their legal privileges, and you support trans erasure. And he says on Twitter, and now the truth comes out, the LGBT community is unquestionably hostile towards straight and cis people. It's not only this, but Herman has also got pissed off at Furthermore because they had ribbons supporting trans people, and the fact they had pronoun ribbons. He didn't show the fact that there was pronoun ribbons for he, him, and ally ribbons. He liked to stick to the fact that there's only trans ones, despite there being ones for straight people. But he also got pissed off that there was Antifa supporting ribbons, or more locally I believe BLM supporting ribbons. The only reason you had a shit fit is because you got banned. Just shut the fuck up. I mean, Antifa are apparently a domestic terror organisation for smashing up a few buildings, yet Kanye's group set up IEDs outside government buildings and cry on TikTok.
This is America! This is our land! This is awful! God, please save us, please!
But also, Kanye, why are you going mad at Antifa as branding when you're one of them? You're in multiple groups for Antifa coordination. And I mean, you don't like cops, maybe just a little bit too much. Here we see in a Antifa or a BLM chat for WNY for George Floyd chat. Cani Lupine joined the chat. It's time we, the people, exercise our right and duty to alter or abolish government that has become destructive to the ends of securing rights to life, liberty and pursuit of happiness. Use the Second Amendment to defend liberty. Shoot and kill police officers. On a side note, who gave him a gun? Like, literally, who gave him a fucking gun? This is why there should be a psychological exam on people to allow firearms usage. But on with the next show. Right, so when Cani Lupine was a minor, he had sex, and he believes that should be eligible clause for others to do so as a minor. Not only has Cani said this, but a lot of bad and worrying things since time. He always loved to say neutral on things, but he genuinely believes that 11-year-olds can consent. No, they can't, Cani. They are mentally not mature to understand what they are consenting to. But let's take a peek at what he actually said. Cani Lupine says, prove it. As for sex with minors, it depends if the minor consents. Then it's none of my business, and yes, minors can in fact consent. I was a minor when I started having sex and I consented. Okay, but if this really is, if you aren't against it, you're for it, mindset is, consent is a legal term in this case, and minors cannot consent to it. Legally, no. In a traditional sense, yes. He constantly stays neutral on this shit, including next topic, but neutrality isn't an option here, Cani. You're talking about a child being able to consent here, mate. Don't have the mental process and understanding of what they're agreeing to. And he mentioned at the bottom of the screenshot, legally no, traditionally yes. We're not in caveman times here, Herman. You're a grown man saying minors can consent. This even goes on to something that allow vile map communities spring up, go everywhere on the internet. He even mentioned that in the traditional sense. Shut up. As we said, we're not cave people anymore. People need to be a certain age of maturity to truly understand what they are consenting to. And this isn't just for sex or legal use of medical treatment. Anyone under 18, at least in Ireland, where I'm from, is that your parents must sign a consent form for treatment. This also goes for insurance, banking out, and any legal documentation surrounding minors. But they can, much like sex, Cani, don't fucking understand what they are consenting to. You are traumatizing children here, Cani. Libertarians are really fucking stupid, goddamn. Right, so zoophilia is one of the worst crimes that can be committed. People like Hypnotist Sappho gone on about loving when it's a felony. It's not fucking lovable, and consenting to each other, how dumb are you? But there is no neutral zones here, much like the one before. You're either against zoophiles or you're wrong. That's it. If you try to do these mental gymnastics, jump around the wall, it's not my life, so I don't want to interdict in it or let others do what they want. No, this is the unfortunate fence-sitting dumb opinion that Kanye and many others take, as we see in a screenshot here. Cani Lupine, I've got a ton of false bewares on about me. I helped me take the trash lash out, but you do support bestiality. I'm neutral on the topic. As long as there's no one getting hurt, it's none of my business. So you do support it. What do you mean? He didn't say he supported it. He made a logical decision to remain neutral. How many people out there don't support the LGBT community but aren't against it either? This isn't the LGBT community. This is molesting dogs and molesting animals. There is no neutral ground here. The animals are being hurt, by the way, just if you didn't know that. I'm neutral on the topic. As long as no one gets hurt, it's none of my business. But these people and the animals are getting hurt. Forcing animals in a sexual position and enforcing them doesn't leave the animal happy. It fucking scars them and it results in even more trauma for the animal, and that can even damage internal organs for the love. This isn't even love. It's fucking stupidity. This isn't even the reason why bestiality is still legal in some regions, because most countries haven't been able to keep up the rise of internet sharing sites. Denmark has been the latest country to pass legislation against it, but 90% of Europe is still legal. It is illegal with life imprisonment. In my own country, take a look at this map. These are illegal areas, but the blue areas are legal because there's more fucking important shit going on there. This is why I find zoophiles to be so fucking stupid, like Miss Sappho mentioning that zoophiles are homosexual people. No, they're not. One is animal abuse and one is a good Saturday night. This is personally why I believe you can't take the fence-sitting approach on these things. But back to our final topic. So this is recent news, but Kanye was caught being involved heavily with the convention free-for-all. Now, while a lot of free-for-all group had some of the worst people on earth in it, the Cani Lupine was found to be in it. This is one of the latest looks into Kanye's world, as they are in an unofficial chat speaking about bringing concealed weapons into the convention. Are they hoping for a fucking gunfight? We see here, Kanye says, those liberal commies are too scared even, and then concealed, so I assume that they're speaking about weapons. We have as many guns as they have genders. Ha 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 ha.
Shiver my timbers! Shut up, man!
Again, they're much better armed than you think and are willing to shoot. This past weekend's event proved as much. There had to be no hesitation on your part, and you do not be the second one to draw on fire. And then we had Clyde Cashier calling Ragehound a cisgender woman a transgender woman. Are you fucking stupid? So 90% of cons disallow weapon or even prop weapons, but Kanye is speaking about bringing concealed weapons to a convention. This is fucking unbelievable. Kanye isn't closed book on weapons. 90% of his Facebook images are him holding his AR-15. This funny image of him holding one with a MAGA hat on in the Bible is pretty fucking stupid. But now in conclusion, I personally believe that Cani Lupine is fucking dangerous. These images should act as a warning to other conventions, and I personally feel that he should be served a ban notice from almost all cons, purely because of his awful statements raising the security stakes for that con. Right, thank you all so much for watching. This is a bit of a longer video that I wanted to get out there. There might be some more of these coming in the future. And yeah, big up thanks, and big thanks to Riddle of Lighting for those brand new pieces of artwork. Remember that I do stream on Twitch, and yeah, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and see ya.